including BRDC. They're spending 45 million. They want the government to come and help spend another 45 million. They're trying to build a centre of excellence. I'm sure they'll do it, and it's maintaining our place as world leaders of motorsport, and this place is at the heart of it.
Mark, let's talk about today. Very different now to what it was a couple of hours ago. Torrential rain during those practice sessions. How are the drivers going to cope in qualifying?
Well, they'll be fine, but obviously they haven't done much dry running, so you know, the clouds are coming. They need to get out there early. They're going to have to bank one. Then we'll see whether the weather comes in, but hopefully it's going to be action-packed at the beginning of the session.
Thanks, Mark. Session starting in just under 25 minutes' time. Let me just remind you of the Drivers' Championship. 70 points still up for grabs for the winners of the last 7 races. One Irish bookmaker, I understand, has already paid out on Michael Schumacher retaining his title. Ralph Schumacher and Barry Keller, their nip and tuck for third. Montoya, the only other driver in double figures. Michael Schumacher, though, enjoying an absolutely magnificent season. 6 wins, 3 second places, the only blank because of that suspension failure at Imola. Another triumph here. He equals Alain Prost's all-time record, 51 Grand Prix victories. James Allen reporting.
Michael Schumacher's victory last time out at Magny-Cours brought the 50 up for this remarkable racing driver. Still only 32, and with at least another 3 years at Ferrari ahead of him, he's sure to break all the records in Formula One. His first target is equaling Alain Prost's record of 51 wins, and he might even do it this weekend.
I know people like to talk a lot about May the 51 here, but
Michelin, more than a tyre, it's a team committed to high performance for the drivers, for you, every day.
And it's Eddie Jordan in the Jordan up to 5th place. That was a race in Spain, Murray, I'm afraid. Only a couple of years ago. Sadly, at my age, I'm not driving the Jordan anymore, nor never was going to be.
The Williams car is absolutely unique, except for the one following behind, which is also identical.
Thanks to Sir Frank for that one. Williams actually playing down their chances a bit at the British Grand Prix. You're back with us at Silverstone, honing in on the qualifying session to decide who starts where tomorrow. They'll drive 60 laps of the 3.1-mile circuit. Familiar territory for the 7 British-based teams. Martin Brundle and Mark Blundell have been taking a stroll round.
So, Marky boy, the famous tarmac of Silverstone, then down here at the Beckett's corner. This is an amazing area to arrive in a Formula One car at about 185 miles an hour. It looks so wide, doesn't it? But when your backside's scraping along the ground, it looks as if you're aiming at a postage stamp. But it's all about keeping as much speed as you can through this right-hander.
This, for me, Martin, is Silverstone. This is Beckett's Corner Commitment Challenge. This is what it's all about. 6-gear on approach, 180 odd miles an hour. But I'll be honest with you, I've never gone through here flat, and I've always dropped a cog down to 5th. I'm not sure what you've done.
Well, there's a good bit of bar talk, isn't there, about taking Beckett's flat. It is difficult. If the wind direction is absolutely spot on, you turn into that wind, you can do it. But I don't expect to see much of that going on this weekend.
Whatever the weather conditions, you need a lot of downforce and a very well-balanced Formula One car to keep good momentum through this never-ending Beckett section. Heading then down into Hanger Straight. For 2003, there's going to be a lot of changes here at Silverstone. That's not for Stowe Corner, as it happens. 190 on the way in, around 150 through the middle, and heading towards Vale.
So here we are, Marty, over the blind brow, 5th gear, 170 miles an hour. Bang, 2nd gear into Vale Corner. Some people try to overtake there, through into Club, on the gas, squeeze off, and just blend through the corner.
Yeah, it's good this year, but in a couple of years' time, it should be even better. A lot of plans here for a new parabolic curve. It's going to be 2-degree angle at the bottom, moving up to 12 degrees at the top. In the anticipation, the cars can follow each other closely, pick up the tow, instead of losing out when they're line astern, catapult into what is a new pit straight. And hopefully the finest pit and paddock facility in the Formula One world is going to be built just over there.
After Club Corner, 6th gear, 180 miles an hour, into the Abbey chicane, 75 miles an hour, clip a little bit of curb on the left, blend it through on the right, tricky corner low, adverse camber. But this is how it is this year, Martin.
That's right, for 2003, once again a big change. We're going to turn right at the end of what will become the new pit straight and head off down the current international circuit. The main reasoning behind that is to be able to get the fans right into the heart of the circuit for more enjoyment without having to cross the racetrack. Should be good.
After Abbey get ready for the 160-mile-an-hour roller coaster ride of Bridge before the urgent arrival of Priory, 105 miles an hour through the apex, a short squirt down to Brooklands, take the curb at 55 miles an hour, and another short squirt into Luffield, the final long right-hander. Listen to the traction control of that Jaguar. As soon as he can get full power, he catapults towards the start-finish line at over 170 miles an hour already.
Thank you, Martin. Lots of changes in the pipeline then, but these fellas and David Coulthard know their way around Silverstone. He's a long shot for the driver's title, but in my view, Coulthard in the middle of his best season ever. Still, though, 31 points adrift of Michael Schumacher. Coulthard and McLaren got their Silverstone strategy just right last year. Louise Goodman underlined the need for an action replay.
It's getting a bit critical now, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, people talk about points in the championship and that sort of thing, and I haven't really been looking at the points at any stage in the season. I've just been concentrating on individual races. But it is getting to a point where you have to sort of say it's going to be more difficult if you don't start clawing back points, because, you know, Michael can afford to not finish 3 races, and I have to win those 3 races to get myself, you know, within 1 point of him. So with 7 to go, it becomes more difficult.
What's happened? I mean, you had a couple of wins earlier in the year, but have McLaren slipped backwards? Have the others gone forward?
No, I don't think the performance has actually changed a great deal, other than at key moments we had small technical problems. I think the performance, the basic speed of the package is there. Ferrari have been pretty dominant when it comes to qualifying. Williams have popped in there occasionally, and obviously in the races. And then we've tended to be a bit stronger relative to our qualifying performance, so we've been able to win a couple of Grand Prix, and, you know, as we saw in Magny Cours, then we were quite competitive in the race, and had we not had the problem with the pit limiter, then we would have been at least second and possibly challenging for the win.
How frustrating is it for you, because you keep having these little problems, things let you down?
There's no point of being bugged by it, because that doesn't change the situation. What you have to do is work with the team to understand why we're having these issues. It's frustrating that they're so small. You know, to go out of a race with a major mechanical problem, you can at least say, well, let's try and redesign that part. When you have a small technical problem with software or something that you can't actually physically see, then that's difficult to comprehend. But in many ways, those are some of the most technical parts of the car, because obviously there's so many, you know, millions of lines of code that are actually involved in the programming of the engine, the software that runs the car, everything. So
you think you can get the win here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's possible.
Make it 3 in a row. What would that mean to you?
It would be fantastic. Not so much thinking about the fact that it's 3 in a row, but just for the season ahead. It's been a while since we've won now. I think the team deserve, despite some of the problems we've had, to win a Grand Prix soon, and this weekend would be soon enough.
What's his mindset this weekend, Mark?
I think his mindset is he's come to Silverstone to win the Grand Prix. Yes, he'd love to have a hat-trick, but listening to him there, I think he's conceded that the World Championship is definitely gone. You know, the deficit between him and Schumacher is too big. Schumacher needs to do something seriously wrong, and DC's got to mop up and make the best of it, and I don't think it's going to happen.
OK, talking about mopping up, you could have done with a mop this morning for the 2 practice sessions here. Absolutely shocking conditions earlier on, and it changed so quickly, but it really was grim here at Silverstone this morning. Temperature hardly touching 10 degrees and lots of water around as well, and that gave 1 or 2 problems, didn't it, Tony, to a couple of the big names in practice.
Well, David Coulthard has got to hope Michael Schumacher does something like this in the race, and, you know, he goes off on the parade lap in his spare car in Germany and everyone gets excited. Really, David Coulthard gets very excited about this, and this circuit has been cruel to Michael Schumacher, but then, you know, as you said, all the top guys were spinning off. That's how treacherous it's been when it's been wet, but it's drying out now.
Schumacher quickest, Jensen Button with a little spin this morning.
Yeah, a little spin, but no problem. Hey, world champions go off, Grand Prix winners go off. A guy who's sitting there still not won a race yet and goes off, what's the deal? He's okay.
OK, then let's join Beverly Turner, shall we? She's been ducking and diving behind the scenes with some familiar faces at Arrows.
Here at Silverstone, there's as much to see off the track as on it, and the familiar faces in the paddock included Danny Knowles, Suzanne, Mylene and Kim, otherwise known as Hearsay. Okay, here, so it's very early on a Saturday morning. There's just about me, you and the Germans here. Why are you here? What are you doing today?
Oh, we're going to be performing here today, so we're going to be doing a few of our tracks. It's really nice to be here.
In your special suits, because you're all looking very smart there.
Orange.
Are they going to work you really hard?
It's really exciting actually, because we've come up from this morning, and then we're getting a helicopter out, and then a Learjet to Cardiff this afternoon, where we're on that party in the park down there.
I noticed you're running off to the garage like 5 kids before. Going to have a look.
Sold off. I think we're going to run into a car or something.
We weren't actually just running, we were actually simulating being on the racetrack.
It's like a doctor's surgery. There's like heart monitors and stuff for the cars. It's mad.
You've obviously not had much time to take in the paddock yet, maybe this morning, but what you've seen of it so far, what do you think?
As soon as I walked in, I just thought, how much money do these teams spend? Because I remember I used to go karting when I was younger with one of my friends, and like it was like this, but on a much smaller scale, like camper vans and little trucks on the back. And then you come here and it's like, just walk around in these huge tents and just incredible.
It's like every little boy's dream, though, isn't it? To walk around it.
Are you going to get to meet any of the drivers?
Yeah, I walked past Michael Schumacher earlier on. He was walking past Ferrari, and I went, "That's Michael Schumacher's team."
We were too busy running.
We were all going,
Do you still get starstruck?
incredibly, incredibly.
Jeffrey from Rainbow is the most starstruck I've ever been.
Have you got any favourites, any of you? Favourite drivers?
David Coulthard.
Any particular reason, Kid? Because of his driving ability?
Told me to say it.
He's
a great driver.
Anybody asks you today, you just have to say David Coulthard.
So he's your favourite as well now?
Yeah, because he's come up, it's his home track and stuff. He beats the rest of them.
So who do you think is going to win this weekend?
David Coulthard.
All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't work too hard flying around the world. Enjoy your weekend.
Good luck, Dave.
Thanks, Beverly. Thanks, Hearsay. Lots of David Coulthard fans. Nice way to repay the hospitality from the Arrows team, that wasn't it? You're back with us at Silverstone. Very pleasant day here now it is. Let me just confirm for you how they will line up for tomorrow's British Grand Prix. Schumacher and Hakkinen on that front row. Coulthard well placed third. Truly excellent qualifying from the Jordan driver in fourth, followed by his Jordan colleague Frentzen. Barrichello, last year's pole sitter, starts on the third row. Raikkonen and Montoya in the Williams, the top Michelin runner. Montoya 8th. And the British drivers, Irvine 15th, Jenson Button is down in 18th. We're going to go to the press conference now, straight to that, to hear from the top three: David Coulthard, Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher.
Michael, we normally have an hour for qualifying, but for today we ran just basically half an hour, with all of you going out for 4 runs. So talk me through your qualifying session.
Well, basically everybody was waiting for everybody to get out and do the first experience, see whether the circuit is somewhere still damp where we don't see it, and clean it up maybe even. But everybody thought the same, so nobody was going out really. So it was a bit of a rush last half an hour. And I mean, all day was a bit exciting, honestly, with the heavy rain we had this morning. And then in qualifying, we lost the computers. I mean, we didn't have lap times anymore. So it was very difficult to know where we lost out for time. And at one stage, I was obviously second. So it was a bit of a rush through doing 4 runs in half an hour. But nothing to complain, to be honest, because we did the best job with it. So that's good.
But as we just said, 4 runs in half an hour. Can you do anything to change the car in that time, or is it just a case of 4 straight runs?
No, it's fine-tuning of the car, yes. You definitely change the car because we haven't had any running in the dry today at all. So naturally, you do some changes.
Michael, thank you very much. Mika, you're the only one of the 3 sitting at the table here who improved on their 4th and final run. Could you have improved by even more?
Yes, always there is reasons after where you could say you could do better. And obviously it was, we went out something like 2 minutes before the end, and obviously there was like 6-7 cars front of me before the second last corner. So obviously you have to slow down a lot and try to find the right gap. And it was very difficult indeed. And obviously because David was behind me, I couldn't leave it absolutely for last second for me. That way thinking about, otherwise he cannot get time lap, and it's no reason to start racing teammates which one goes first to the time lap. So it was you have to a little bit compromise. So when I did my time lap, probably I was behind the Bennett on last 2 corners, so the possibility there is lost maybe 10th or 2. But then again, have to look to times and study if there was any loss in the last sector. So, but very happy about generally the performance of the car and the team today.
Certainly, looking at that performance, particularly on that final lap, it didn't look like a lap of someone who's contemplating retirement, as the stories have been flying around this weekend.
Yeah, I heard the same stories. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mika. David, 3rd place on the grid, that will be maybe slight disappointment for you, but you only squeaked in by 0.03 of a second ahead of Jarno Trulli.
Yeah, but I'm in front, so that's the important thing. And not too disappointed with qualifying. I don't feel that I've got the balance that I'm looking for in the car so far this weekend, in the wet or dry. So to be, what I consider to be quite close, considering the balance I have out in the track, then I'm reasonably optimistic for the performance in the race.
Looking ahead to the race, you've won here in 1999 and 2000. Is the weather going to really play a big role tomorrow? Well, if weather plays up, then yes, it will play a big role, but I don't know, sitting here, what's going to happen. And, we have to race whatever the conditions, so I'm not unduly concerned if it's wet or dry. It's still, I think that our relative race performance is a bit better than we are qualifying. And in the wet, you can see it's all pretty much close, depending on when you're on the track.
I'm not a weatherman. I think the forecast for tomorrow best described as dodgy. Tony, nothing happened for 20 minutes and drives us crackers, that, doesn't it?
Well, it does. It's very difficult for us in here, but it's not that. You've got to think of the people out there that have paid a lot of money for the entertainment. And this is their one chance a year to see the Grand Prix cars. They're waiting for them to come out. They've paid a lot of money. And 12 laps, that's all we get to do. We're told it's in the interests of economy. I'm sorry, I can't go for that at all. Give them a few extra tyres, let them stay out there. I don't know what you think, Marky.
I think there should be a regulation made where the cars have to go and run in the first 15 minutes. They should at least run 1 set of tyres, bank one, give everybody some atmosphere, get the experience rolling. Then they can just pan out a little bit and put the efforts in right at the very end. But it's a bit much when you sit for 20 minutes doing nothing.
We're all agree about that then. And when they did come out, the McLaren started off very well indeed, Tony.
Yeah. David Coulthard has been talking about the problems of McLaren in qualifying trim. He said, look, the car is not that bad. Adrian Newey says, I don't think the gap between the McLaren and the Ferrari is that big. And then the little tweaks on the car itself, and off they got, and David Coulthard got a 21.1. And you see the way it was turning as well, particularly just underneath us here when it turns in through Copse. It's incredible how much grip it gets and how it changes direction so quickly. Both the McLarens and Hakkinen, he responds so well when the car is going well. The car's going badly, he drops his head and he really doesn't want to know. But it's good performance from them. The car is better in race trim.
Absolutely. Mark, you've spun around this place many times. I mean, they've lopped nearly 5 seconds off last year's pole time. I know conditions are a bit better this year, but that must surprise you, that amount of time, doesn't it?
The lap times are ever so quick. But interestingly, what happens is you have some rain, the track gets washed off, and 9 times out of 10 you come back on the racetrack and there's an incredible amount of grip because the temperatures are just right, the engine's breathing really well, and it's actually great fun to drive in. It's really rewarding.
We all gasped when Schumacher set that 121.4, I think it was, with that going with that damp under bridge as well, that it nearly threw him off completely.
Well, I tell you, it really got me going, but that is awesome commitment. Watch the guy through here. Oh, I mean, your heart's in your mouth, but I tell you exactly what it feels like. You know when you've got your glass on a table and you knock it off, you grab it, you just catch it, your heart's pumping.
I normally drop it.
Well, that's exactly what he was going through then. But that's the skill and ability of a world champion and the commitment. I mean, people say about, they lose their commitment. This guy hasn't lost anything, has he? Really impressive. I'm amazed by it, and a truly amazing performance.
Is he going to shrug his shoulders at the end of that and say no problem there, or would even Schumacher's ticker be racing a bit when that happens?
I think it would have gone up maybe a beat. You know.
We'll give him a beat. David Coulthard went up a beat and actually improved that time, didn't he?
Yeah, and again, it's about this fine-tuning of the car, and David doesn't like the car being too tail-happy. He prefers it to with a bit more understeer, just a bit weightier at the front end of that. And clearly things are going in the right direction because of the response that he's had from it. The other question mark is Mercedes have come out and said, yeah, we need to give the boys a bit more power as well. And what David needs to do is now just totally concentrate on the race. Let's hope there's not too much noise in his campsite in the middle where his little camper is tonight.
Yeah, bearing in mind, Mark, a few of the problems, McLaren, I would think, will be quite satisfied by the way the cars worked over the last hour.
I think so. I mean, I think they should be very satisfied. One, they didn't have any glitches, you know, which is something they've been struggling with. But the cars look very impressive. I watched them out on the racetrack yesterday, very stable, very drivable. And as everybody says, them included, they are better in the race.
Been a long time since Mika Hakkinen was on pole. I mean, not so long ago he was on there regularly, and it looked for a while he would do it here at Silverstone.
Well, he doesn't look like a man who's going into retirement, does he? I mean, that's for sure. And
kicking and screaming, perhaps.
Yeah, everyone's saying that. But, you know, he's out there. He got a great lap together, very smooth. And that car was very impressive all day long as well. But it's the mark of a world champion. You know, these guys will not get knocked off their pedestal.
And for a while, David Coulthard was up there. We had an all-McLaren front row, didn't we? Didn't turn out that way in the end. But how crucial is that difference, Mark, between front row and third for David?
At the end of it all, there is some crucial differences there between that row, and we're only talking about a couple of attempts, but, you know, come the race, I think they can make up with it. Tactics especially are going to be important.
Now, Michael Schumacher has been in qualifying, has been the absolute master throughout the season, and typically, right at the end, he comes back and takes pole sitter.
It just shows how good the car is, both in qualifying trim and in race trim as well. But I think, you know, even watching on the little screen as we are, it's Mark's talking about the guy's commitment. I talk again about 32-year-old's fitness and him more to come from this guy. It's particularly as he went through Luffield there, just coming into Woodcote, as the tyres were almost on the grass there. He was really on the edge, but in superb control. And it's also how good the Ferrari looks and how well it's turning in and how everything looks good. They're on a roll, but it's cyclical, isn't it? Any moment, that smoke could come out the back and they stop.
We never know. We'll have to wait until the race tomorrow. Let's pop down to Parc Fermé now, shall we? And have a word with James Allen.
Thank you, Jim. Something we don't often see at the end of qualifying or the race. This is the checks that go on to the cars. This is Mika Häkkinen's car, which he became so close to grabbing pole position from Michael Schumacher. You can see the FIA guy just doing the electronics checks, taking the oil, taking the fuel out of it. Meticulous detail and care is taken over every aspect of checking these cars. There's a real feeling down here, though, at McLaren that they were so close. They really thought they were going to get pole position here this afternoon, and they're disappointed that Michael Schumacher nicked it from them in the final minutes. One last thing while we're down here, and this is something for Mark to talk about. It's very rare that you get to see this. That's the rear diffuser of the Sauber. This is a car which has had fantastic aerodynamics all year. It's behaved beautifully, and that's something they don't often allow you to see. Look at it. It's just completely left alone. A £1 million racing car sitting all alone with no one attending to it.
Had a good season, haven't they, Sauber, with perhaps with a bit of help from Ferrari?
Very impressive, but impressive with two young guys, old head on young shoulders, doing an incredible job. But that car is good, and the guy who designed it is floating around the pit lane with no job. That's the incredible thing.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. OK, let's... just across the road is the Jordan factory here. Eddie Jordan, well pleased the way his two drivers performed in qualifying, and here he is chatting to Louise.
Thanks. Eddie, Martin's just described that as a great day for Jordan. Does it feel that way to you?
Thank you, Martin. Well, it was a good day because really we were very high, full of expectation for the morning session when it was wet, and of course everybody seems to think we go better in the wet than in the dry. The day was a real good moral booster. It comes on the back of France, where I really felt that we made some improvement, both cars finishing with the reliability and Jarno and well in the points. And again today it was a good lap, although it was quite frustrating not to have the times up on the screen because we weren't exactly sure where we were for most of the session. Fourth and fifth in front of one of the Ferraris. Yeah, Martin, it is a good day for the team.
And nice to do it at your home Grand Prix as well.
Well, I think we were on the front row here at Silverstone last year. It's a very special place for us. As I say, our factory is less than 100 yards from the store here, and gives everyone that little moral boost because God knows we needed it this year. It's been a little bit disappointing halfway through the middle there.
It has been a disappointing year for Jordan. Can you see them rectifying that here tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. The motivation's there, and they've got the right people there, with people like, you know, David Brown in there, the ex-McLaren man as well. And they're starting to make the car really work very, very well. But you've got to remember that these teams, the home teams like BAR just down the road in Brackley, and then Jordan just because all the staff are here as well. Tremendous lift for the whole team. And they take whole grandstands for their workers to watch as well. So it's very important for them to get a good result.
OK, a tough day ahead tomorrow for Jenson Button. We didn't expect too much from him. He has qualified down in 18th place for the British Grand Prix.
Jenson, 18th on the grid. Were you pleased with that?
No, not really. Would you be?
I would be ecstatic, actually, if the truth be known, but probably means something different to me.
Yeah, it's... we actually thought... Personally, I thought we'd be a bit further in front, but I think because of the difference in conditions this morning, everything, we weren't able to try new things on the car, and that's why we're... Better close that for the sponsors. That's why we're where we are, I think, and we just didn't really get it together. I mean, you do a good lap and you expect to be a bit higher, but 18th is not really where we expected, but that's where we are.
Indeed it is, but at least he's ahead of Giancarlo Fisichella, his teammate. Well, now your chance to win a brand new British sports car. We got the question for you, and it's pretty simple, I'll have to tell you, if you've been watching our coverage over the last hour and a half or so. Here is the question: who won last year's British Grand Prix? Mark and Tony, you keep quiet here, would you please? Is it A, Michael Schumacher, B, Mika Hakkinen, or C, David Coulthard? A, Michael Schumacher, B, Mika Hakkinen, or C, David Coulthard? First prize, a new MG ZR car, a day for two at Thruxton to drive new MG saloons. 10 runners-up prizes, day for two at Thruxton to drive those new MG saloons. And there it is, the new MG ZR. The number to dial, 09069 51 50 50. 09069 51 50 50. Lines closing midnight, July the 24th. Right, that's one competition done and dusted. Let's take a look at one or two of the Murray banners, shall we? Our own competition that we're running around here at Silverstone for the best Murray Walker themed banner. We're going to run it again on race day. Let's just have a look at one or two of them. Go, 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 Murray. I have to say, you've gone to great extremes. Thanks very much for all the care you have put in. Look at that, fantastic. Nice drawing of Murray as well. Time to stop your start. Watch, you'll get me at it in a minute here. Murray Walker, the greatest F1 talker. Terrific response from all the F1 fans. Thank you very much for that, Murray Walker. What a talker. One or two poets out there. Murray, how can you go? Well, there's loads of them around. It's sparked your imagination. No, it's a Benetton Murray. We're going to miss you. Murray, more GPs than anyone. And a winner every time. That's a nice one. Murray in for tyres, lap 52. Murray Walker with half the race gone, half the race still to go. There is only one Murray Walker, and there's our winner. The saddest retirement of any Grand Prix, Murray Walker. That's our winner. Another competition for you tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed for that. Let me just say, you be sure to join us tomorrow for our pre-race show. Extensive build-up to the British Grand Prix. The race live from just after midday. All sorts of things lined up for you. Have a little word with Ross Kemp, among others, in that build-up. And the highlights tomorrow at 11:15. A look back, all the analysis of the British Grand Prix, and that show repeated on ITV2 on Monday at 7. Now, whatever you do, stay tuned. Louise Goodman is coming right up. Terrific weekend they had last weekend at that Goodwood Festival of Speed. Lots of nostalgia. Damon Hill there, Jenson Button as well, and the world's biggest collection of F1 and historic racing cars. The best of the Goodwood Festival of Speed is coming right up after this programme. Well, there we are, the scene really set for the British Grand Prix tomorrow. David Coulthard chasing that hat-trick of victories. He is right up there in the frame. Mika Hakkinen retiring. You must be joking. He's on the front row. But the man they all have to beat here at Silverstone is the reigning world champion, Michael Schumacher, chasing an Alan Prost target of 51 Grand Prix victories. See you just after midday tomorrow. Bye-bye.
With Texaco. If you'd like to know more about Formula One, the website address sponsored by Foster's is www.itv-f1.com.